Just doing that, settling in.
Corner three on the way by Poole. No.
It could take all season. It could take 2 years, right?
It's getting worse and worse for the Washington Wizards and Jordan Poole. As a matter of fact, it's getting to a meme-worthy degree of bad when it comes to Jordan Poole. He's breaking record books for how terrible he's been for the Washington Wizards this year, and at this point, his future does look bleak to say the best. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. I haven't proved myself to you at this point, then check this out. On Thursday Night Football, these are all the people that made money by following my prize picks for free on Instagram. I give out my picks for free each and every night, and if you end up tailing me and hit green, I shout you out like this. Right now, when you use my promo code microphone, you could double your deposit up until $100 on prize picks. And thank you, prize picks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? At this point, no one is blaming the Washington Wizards for trading Chris Paul, who originally was thought to be a buyout candidate in the offseason, to the Golden State Warriors so they could get Jordan Poole. It was seen as the perfect trade. Jordan Poole was having trouble fitting in on the Golden State Warriors. He was getting into it with his teammates. He quite literally got punched in the face by Draymond Green before last season started. He already got a huge contract extension and he has a championship ring. So now it was time to see whether or not he was capable of having his own team. So the Warriors traded him, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Ryan Rollins, a 2027 second round pick, a 2030 first round pick, which was top 20 protected, to the Wizards to get back Chris Paul. In return, the Golden State Warriors got rid of their high volume, low efficiency scorer and brought in a veteran presence that hopefully was good enough to lead their bench. And so far, while the Golden State Warriors trade for Chris Paul in of itself was a success, the Washington Wizards trade for Jordan Poole hasn't even yielded mixed results. It's just been really bad. The same exact thing that Jordan Poole was being exposed for on the Golden State Warriors, which was his lack of effort, for his poor decision making on the court, his lack of effort on defense, and just overall looking like he is not locked into games at all whatsoever, translated to the Washington Wizards. And in the case of the Washington Wizards, Jordan Poole's most viral moment was when he looked completely checked out of a timeout that was called mid-game. I'm sure at this point you guys have seen this clip. He looks like he's not even paying attention to the timeout. The funniest part of all is when Jordan Poole was called out for this, he took no accountability for it at all whatsoever, even going as far as to say that there was nothing wrong with his behavior.
Yeah, I saw it, and I was looking like, how is somebody supposed to give that commentary from the middle of the stands? I mean, obviously I can't do anything about it. Sometimes I sit down, sometimes I don't. Coaches they do their huddle earlier on, kind of figure out what they want to do. It's such a long time also, like it's a 2-minute timeout. The coach is probably only talking for 35 seconds or so. I mean, but I saw the play, I was locking on the play, I went back just to ask the question, just to make sure. Just continue to be vocal, communicate with my teammates. It's a very normal timeout. Honestly, it wasn't anything that was different.
And things really hit a new low in the middle of November when Mark Stein made it clear that Jordan Poole might be a short-term rental. In an interview with Jake Fisher, Jordan Poole talked about how excited he was to have his own team, and how lucky he is to be able to do that so young after learning from some of the best. But Mark Stein broke the news to him when he said, Washington doesn't view Poole the same exact way. Jordan Poole thought he was the main chick, but bro, you're not even a side. My sense from speaking to other league observers is that it seems that it's more likely that the Wizards could just want Poole to build up his trade value for a future move as opposed to seeing him as a cornerstone player. And while that does sound feasible about a month ago, at this point, Jordan Poole has been so laughably bad since our last update that even that doesn't seem to be a likely scenario. I mean, I'm convinced that Jordan Poole just got his bag and checked out because he is shooting career lows. At the time that we're making this video, he is averaging 17 points per game, but he's shooting 39% from the field and 28.6% from three. He has a 10.5 player efficiency rating. He has a negative 4.1 offensive box plus minus, which is his worst number since his rookie season. But he makes sure to beat his rookie season when he adds in the negative 2.9 defensive box plus minus, which when you add that together generates a negative 6.9 box plus minus and a negative 0.7 value over replacement player. I'm not done giving you statistics on how terrible Jordan Poole is. Last week, Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma, who coming into this season were considered to be two very valuable players. Kyle Kuzma just agreed to a 4-year, $102 million contract extension in the summer. The Washington Wizards either view him as a trade piece or at least as some sort of valuable player. But when you take a look at the net rating of the top two scorers on the court for each team, with the very top being Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren, which have been an amazing revelation this year in the NBA, and we got to bring you guys an OKC Thunder video soon. Then second place being Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard surprisingly coming in at third. And then as you scroll down, you brush past Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. You might pass by the Portland Trailblazers, Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Grant, which is when you get to the negatives. Something that's really interesting is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are also negative in net rating. Then you have Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan at second to last, before you finally get to Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole, who have the worst net rating out of all these teams. At that point, they are a negative 32.1 for the season in net rating. Huge reason to this is because both players are incredible at making passes to the other team. Jordan Poole averages 2.8 turnovers per game. Both allow 122 points per 100 possessions defensively. They had 31 shot attempts, which were blocked, and their combined VORP was a negative 0.3. Even Kyle Kuzma himself famously said that the Washington Wizards couldn't stop a stop sign. And while you could typically hide from advanced analytics if you at least pass the eye test, the Washington Wizards do not pass the eye test. There are so many instances where Jordan Poole makes the most boneheaded, idiotic basketball play that just makes him go viral on some social media account. Like, take a look at this play, for instance. Jordan Poole shakes Cade Cunningham with an incredible step back, which, I'm gonna be honest, looks pretty awesome. But at this point, you would think he would either finish the move and score, or look to see who's wide open and kick it out to one of his wide open teammates. In this particular case, if you take a look, Kyle Kuzma is wide freaking open in the corner for three. Either this defender's going to close out on him, which will allow Kyle Kuzma to swing it once again, or Kyle Kuzma will be able to sink a three, which, by the way, he's pretty good at shooting threes. So which one of those do you think Jordan Poole ends up doing? Do you think he either scores on his own, or do you think he kicks it out? I'm going to give you 5 seconds to let me know in the comment section down below which one you think it is. Okay, got it? Because if you chose one of those,
You are absolutely wrong!
Jordan Poole does none of those. As a matter of fact, if you happen to select, be so shocked at how good your move was that you just freeze up a few feet from the basket and allow the defense to regather themselves, then you are correct. Let's play this without freeze framing it for you one more time. He beats Cade Cunningham. Great move. And he just freezes there and waits for Asar Thompson to recover so he could block his shot. If that isn't enough to convince you that the Washington Wizards have been playing terrible basketball, how about Jordan Poole throwing this alley-oop pass off the backboard while he is down by 20 points? Which is absolute insanity. I mean, just pass it to Kyle Kuzma so he could dunk the ball, man. Like, you don't do that when you're down by 20 points. It's so pathetic as they like look at each other like they're so proud of their accomplishment. It's like,
Look, we cut the lead to 19.
Maybe we could cover the spread.
and the worst part is people are saying the reason he did this bullshit is because Ruby Rose was in attendance. I mean, throwing it off the backboard when you're down by 20 is insane. I'm sorry to tell you. But probably my favorite moment of all that just looks ridiculous for Jordan Poole was when he was trying to make a high IQ basketball move. Typically, whenever you need additional time on the shot clock to run an extended play, you typically see point guards asking their teammates to bounce the ball on the court for them so they can walk the dog up the court. This way, the shot clock doesn't start start, which would give them additional time to set up an offensive play. It's done many times in the NBA, but the thing is, while the shot clock isn't affected, the actual game clock goes down consistently. So in this particular case, you could tell that the Washington Wizards are down by 10. And Jordan Poole thought that by doing this, he is somehow stopping the game clock until one of his teammates tell him, "What are you doing?" That the game clock is going, and then he picks it up and then ends up scoring. The craziest part about this play is that Jordan Poole thinks he's doing something slick. It's like he thinks he invented some basketball move that has never been done before in NBA history, and then he does end up scoring off of this play, so props to him. It just shows you how oblivious this young man is. And honestly, he could afford to be oblivious. He wasn't supposed to get to this point. He had no expectations at all whatsoever when the Golden State Warriors drafted him. The fact that he broke out and got a bag and won a championship at the age of 24, he's already overachieved. There is nothing stopping Jordan Poole from just playing out the remainder of his contract, taking his $128 million that he's earned, go buy some beachfront property and just relax for the rest of his life. That's more money than 99% of humans will ever see in their life. So at this point, maybe he's just content. What else do you have to prove? You're never going to be an all-star. It's not like you're trying to chase LeBron James or Steph Curry or Michael Jordan. You got your bag, and now you're on your own team. It doesn't look like this is trending upward for Jordan Poole, and it doesn't look like he's capable of being a franchise cornerstone. There's absolutely no team that is going to want to trade for this contract. All that Jordan Poole could hope for at this point is that he plays so terribly that no team tries to trade for him, and then maybe next year he'll get some better teammates as a result of a very low draft pick that will complement him better, and that'll result in him playing better. But right now, I can't imagine a single team wanting to trade for Jordan Poole and his contract, given how he is statistically one of the worst players in the NBA. But I'd like to hear what you have to say about this. Do you think Jordan Poole is salvageable, or do you think this is the end of Jordan Poole? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.